Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes to really wherever our whims take us. Superhero marriages, a topic that fascinates me endlessly, especially because oft-times there's editorial pushback to it. This makes looking back at Silver Age comics like Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane extra amusing because lots of the plots in that comic revolve around her trying to get Superman to marry her. These plots tend to demonstrate that this would be a bad idea, and yet if Lois marries anyone else, then Superman is the first to lament, and the stories are still like, and that doesn't work out either. So get married but don't. Some of these stories can be so ludicrous that a couple have become my favorite issues of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane of all time. Perhaps some of just my favorite issues of all time. As is the case within the imaginary story held inside of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane number 89. This issue is coming at you from 1969, and it features the tale of Lois Lane marrying Batman. And it is everything. It's so good it was retconned into continuity. That's right. Crisis on Infinite Earths took a second out to explain that this story had happened on Earth 89. A whole alternate world, just so we can have this. I mean, we already had it, but have it canonically? Now they call it an imaginary tale, which is DC's early terminology for an elseworlds story. Basically a story taking place outside the status quo of accepted continuity, such as it was. But enough about that, you want to hear about Bruce stealing Superman's girl. So let's go spend some time with millionaire sportsman Bruce Wayne. But before we get started, I'm Sasha, and if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Join us on this comic book journey. The cover is actually 100% accurate. When you have something this mad taking place inside, there's no need to hide or embellish, just display it proudly on the front for the world to see. Tell the people, lucky Bruce Wayne, Lois doesn't know he's Batman. She's marrying him for himself and also for his money. Featuring Lois as the bride of Batman. The opening splash page is just mwah. If you're not sold on this, I don't know what to tell you. I'm the luckiest woman in the world to have Batman as my husband and Batman Jr. as my son. Superman is stalking them from a corner over in the Batcave, and the narration box has some choice words for him. Flake off, Superman. You had your chance. Flake off. I'm gonna start using that. Thanks, 1969. Although that same box goes on to say that Lois belongs to someone else now, which is why you should flake off. Belongs to. Thanks, 1969. Taking my thumbs up back. One imaginary day, which may or may not ever happen.
Well, we finally did it. We trapped the Mad Blaster. He won't be able to blast his way out of prison.
I looked up the Mad Blaster and found that he is indeed imaginary, which saddened me greatly because I wanted adventures starring a villain called the Mad Blaster. I did find a superhero team called the Blasters, but that's not the same thing. It's not the same. Bruce and Dick are headed to a masquerade charity garden party. This is for the Gotham Scholarship Fund. But before they go, Bruce sketchily ditches Robin to check out a room that is forbidden, off limits to Dick. Within lies the one secret Batman has never shared with Robin. It's a creepy Lois gift shrine. He has a room full of gifts he's got for her but never given her because she's Superman's girlfriend. He has a bust of her. Is that for him or her? It looks like he's commissioned mannequins that look like her to wear the clothes he's bought her. I won't question how he knows her measurements. He's Batman. Here's the thing, you could easily make this hilariously creepy gift room into something more heartwarming, or at least understandable. Heartwarming is the wrong word. Emotional. There we go. First off, make it just one gift. Let's reduce the amount of gifts to one. It can still be extravagant. He is a millionaire. 2, add one flashback panel of him psyching himself up to go and give Lois this gift, only for that to be the moment that he realizes that she's involved with Superman. I said involved with, like I felt like there were quotes around it, which yes, there should be. And then he keeps the gift, hoping that one day. But this room is so awkward and speaks to such poor ability to process emotions that it's probably fitting. They go to the ball with Bruce dressed as Achilles and Robin goes as Robin Hood, which he thinks is far too clever. Instead of Robin, I'll be Robin Hood. Nice going, Dick. Truly the epitome of wit. Lois is there as Joan of Arc and Bruce can't resist talking to her. I hope it's about the fact that she brought a real horse to this event. Byron/Comet, is that you? That's a little Lois Lane did Comet the super horse humor for you, because we've got continuity on this channel. Bruce ends up saving Lois when her horse is spooked, but she's more impressed by Superman, who just arrives, flying the horse away. But Superman isn't there to party or keep his date with Lois. He's just dropping in. He has a mission to go on with Wonder Woman. Also, Lois says that Superman should be in a different costume for the masquerade ball. So are you trying to tell me that she can recognize Superman in a different costume, but still can't recognize that he's Clark? Don't give me any of that hypnotic eyes. No. She's not seeing what she doesn't want to see. So this fight that Superman and Wonder Woman have to go to, it's 60s Wonder Woman, so she's wearing the mod fashion of the time. They even call her the mod Wonder Woman at points. They do in this comic, that's for sure. And her powers are temporarily gone, so she has to use tech like a ring from the Legion of Superheroes to fly and the like. But none of that really matters. What matters is that Lois is sick of being ditched. That's 4 times this month you've broken a date for one of your precious missions. What's the attraction? Crime fighting or Wonder Woman? Stop saving lives and go on dates with me. Let's go, Wonder Woman. Lois will apologize when she's had a chance to cool off. But this time is different. Lois is done for good. She asks Bruce to take her home, and he is not missing out on that opportunity. He asks her on a date that night for the very next day. Rebound guy, he'll take it. Rebound man. And so he takes her on the most fun, extravagant dates he can muster. And to quote Lois, he may not be a superhero, but he's a barrel of fun. A whole barrel. And he's playing the respect your girl game, and Lois is into it. He's so tender, so considerate. Compared to Superman, he treats me like a queen, yet he's never kissed me, not even once. Suddenly,
Lois, I know Superman will always be tops with you, but may I kiss you goodnight?
Consent is sexy, and Lois is into it. That's pretty much what seals the deal between her and Bruce. Following that kiss, she is just primed. So when he proposes to her a little while later, she says yes. Also, he says that he's gonna spend the rest of his life trying to make her happy. Just all of the romance tropes. But that means that Bruce has to tell Clark. Get the popcorn.
Superman, you know I've been dating Lois. It's the real thing. We're going to get married. Any objections?
No objections, Batman, old pal. Lois is free to marry whomever she pleases. She's all yours. With my blessings. He's clearly not fine with it, but if you think he's about to go cry into a tub of ice cream or beat up a tub of ice cream, you are sorely mistaken. For years, she was my girlfriend, and now she's going to marry my best friend? Well, who needs her? Ah, he too has a Lois room. His is full of mementos he's kept, and also mannequins that look like her modeling clothes. Why is this a thing? Also, this is Superman's fortress, so those could conceivably be robots. I'm concerned. You know who else had a shrine room? The Plutonian. And it was depicted to show that he was slipping away from humanity and morality and that he was going mad. But it's 1969, so normal to have a shrine room to your love interest. Aw, Clark broke his Lois bust. Who is being commissioned to make these busts? Superman calms down enough to realize that he's missed his chance. And that means he gets to be best man at Lois and Bruce's wedding. Yay. That's harsh, Bruce. Really harsh. After the wedding, Bruce and his plaid jacket have a surprise for Lois. Is it a special wedding gift? Or what, Lois? Bluebeard murder room? Red room? There are still choices. No, it's that he's Batman, and he still needs to spell it out for her. Batman? Why are you here? Investigative reporter. Points for telling her, but you lose points for telling her after the wedding. He fully brings her in. Tour of the Batcave, explaining his operation, everything. He wants her to be Mrs. Batman, as he says. What's that? You'd like some jealous Robin? Well, I got you covered. I remember when I first came here, Bruce shared his secrets only with me. In all fairness, this is actually the most genuine showcasing of jealousy from Robin that we've seen so far on this channel. They detail how he's worried about losing his position as Bruce's confidant. How as time has gone on, Bruce has gotten more and more people who are involved in his life and involved in his secrets, and it's making Robin feel a bit insecure and less special. He's not sure what his role is. It's genuine. It's not the usual hilarity that's just Robin hating on Bruce's love interests. Or that great one where Batman marries Kathy Kane, Batwoman, and it's all just Robin's fever dream. Not even a fever dream, a nightmare. So life goes on, and Bruce and Lois have a baby, Bruce Jr., who Batman insists begin his training as a toddler. He's gonna be under Robin's tutelage, so Dick feels useful. Huzzah! Whee! Me hit Batman with Batarang! That's the cutest bit of child endangerment I've ever seen. Lois is enjoying her life as a millionairess, but the crime world is stirring. There's a new crime boss called the Gimmick Master who's worked his way up to the top, and his first order of business, he's gonna take down those pesky heroes who are always butting into their operations, and he's gonna start with Batman, and he has a plan. Firstly, he needs to figure out who Batman is. So he sets up a scheme, a clinic/scientific study analyzing the intelligence of Gotham's elite, and he invites Lois. But actually, it's a whole gathering of people who know Batman, or who he thinks are close to him. Lois is there because she wrote an article on Batman. What's it called? I have no idea who Batman is. Don't at me. By Lois Lane. I mean Lois Wayne. They then measure the brainwave reaction when they announce Batman has died. Lois has the biggest reaction, so much so that she faints. So they determine determined she must know who he is. Now, Lois may not be able to figure out a secret identity to save her life, but she's been in enough traps to know when something is suspicious. And so she realizes that things aren't on the up and up, and she's not going to tell anybody who Batman's secret identity is. And so the Gimmick Master has to bust out one of his gadgets to torture her. But Lois thinks on her feet. She knows she has to protect Bruce. So she decides to say that somebody else is Batman. And so who does she name? Why, Clark Kent, of course. Oh, Clark, look, is that a bus? After the goons drop her off on a random street corner, she rushes to tell Bruce what happened, who is secretly amused by the whole thing. Not by the kidnapping, but by the fact that she picked Clark as a patsy.
I never told her that Clark is Superman. Those hoods couldn't hurt him even if they used an H-bomb.
Gimmicks in this story is pretty much synonymous with gadgets. And so it is that the Gimmick Master has rigged a fire hydrant to explode as Clark walks by it.
It would have killed a normal person. I better act stunned so they won't guess I'm invulnerable.
Yes, Clark, good start. Now can you also fake the burns and open wounds? That would be a good next step. Superman and Batman realize they need to come up with a plan, because if the Gimmick Master keeps not killing Clark, he may end up figuring out that Clark Kent is actually Superman. So they have Lois, Clark, and Batman come up with a separate plan. Yes, they're still not telling Lois that Clark is Superman, and oh god, I wish they would. You'd probably need another issue, but the fallout from that, how amazing would that be? The drama. It would be a mess that I want to witness. Anyway, the plan is to take Clark to an evening out at Carmen, the opera. Stick him in a private box so he's an easy target for the Gimmick Master, who of course takes the bait, sneaking on stage, disguised as a performer, and throws a dagger right at him. Performance bit too, that's commitment. The blade seemingly hits Clark, who lets out a very convincing ugh. But then Batman swings in and takes on the Gimmick Master.
Batman alive? Then you weren't Clark Kent? I killed that quivering weakling for nothing.
I know Clark needs to throw suspicion off himself, but does he really need to have his civilian identity so lowly rated? Quivering weakling. And then Lois called him helpless earlier. But Clark's not dead, so the Gimmick Master accuses him of being Superman, only for him and Lois to reveal he was wearing steel armor. Secret identity protected. Later in the Batcave.
Lois wriggled out of a tight spot this time, but as Mrs. Batman, she may still be a target for the underworld. They know she has some connection to you.
I mean, do they really? The Gimmick Master had her there because she wrote an article. It was tenuous at best. It's also not like Batman's saving Lois every 2 seconds like Superman had to. She's been way safer as Mrs. Batman than she ever has been as Superman's girlfriend. Girlfriend who he didn't even go on dates with.
That's why I never married her, for fear of something similar happening.
Oh, is it really now? Is that what you need to tell yourself, Clark? Okay. Did you ever repair that bust?
Yes, I thought she'd be safe as Bruce Wayne's wife, but boy, was I wrong.
See, there, I feel like people would be kidnapping her way more because she's Bruce Wayne's wife and then ransoming her off for money, not to try and find out Batman's secret identity. Also, they dealt with that pretty handily. I don't feel like they have to worry as much as they think they do, but you know what? They want us to believe that the status quo is the way it has to be, but I'm not gonna let them bait me like that. I see you. Nice fishnets, Lois. Aw, look, they're still training Batman Jr. Remember, Junior, J is for justice. So that was Lois Lane marrying Batman, and it brings me so much joy. This is a very silly imaginary story, but one that has a question that some potentially pondered. Batman and Superman are the biggest heroes at DC, and sometimes people play the swapsies game when it comes to romantic interests. It's light shipping fun, just that kind of, ooh, what would happen if, you know, things were just a little bit different. This story is full of plot contrivances and hilarious Silver Age-isms and creepy details that have not aged well. And for me, it all comes together to form a truly enjoyable story. Thanks, Leo Dorfman and Kurt Swan. Bitter Superman is best Superman. That'll teach you to go off fighting with Mod Wonder Woman. Bruce Wayne will use his superior resources to steal your girl. Now, stories like this are not for everyone. Some will simply find this too silly, or the tropes and conventions of the time may make it not an enjoyable read for them. And some are simply not here for stories that spend a lot of time focused on diving into the characters' personal lives. More punching, please. What did you think of this story? Did you enjoy it, or was it too silly for you? Are Lois and Bruce a couple you actually entertain with your shipping goggles? This story has the same energy as that Batman-Superman crossover episode from Superman TAS, the one that was collected and labeled the Batman/Superman movie. Although in that, Lois finds out that Bruce is Batman, and she still can't figure out that Clark is Superman. Come on, Lois, get it together. On that note, share all your thoughts down below, and while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to spend it discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.